Cyclone MMA. UFC 272 is absolutely stacked, and in the main event, you have Jorge Gamebred Masvidal versus Colby Chaos Covington. It's one of those fights where people are going to be very passionate about who they want to win, and it's one that could either be a crazy, wild affair or a decision that most people are expecting. We're going to talk about the card just real quick because it is stacked. In opening the main card, you have Sergey Spivak and Greg Hardy. I feel like Greg Hardy's getting so many damn chances in the UFC, and this is just another example of that. He got knocked out by Tai Tuivasa last fight. Sergey Spivak is, I would say a step up in competition, but I mean, after Tai's last fight, I don't know if I can even say that anymore. But didn't Sergey and Tai fight? Am I crazy? Maybe I am. Maybe I am crazy. Maybe they didn't fight. Oh, they did fight. They fought in 2019, and Sergey won with a submission in the second round. So, Greg Hardy has his hands full. I think Sergey's going to win that. Next, we have a welterweight fight. Kevin Holland and Alex Oliveira. Alex Oliveira is the second cowboy. You got Donald Cerrone as the first one, of course. He's super elite when it comes to BJJ. Good on the ground. Kevin Holland has been working on his BJJ himself, but this is his first fight at welterweight. I'm curious how he looks at that weight class. I think he can get it done. I think if he can keep it standing, which I think he might be able to do against someone like Oliveira, this specific Oliveira, I think he'll be able to. And I think based on all of the clips I've seen of him training and doing different grappling competitions, I think that his, ground game is going to be good enough and his takedown defense is going to be good enough where he can do his thing and then strike with Oliveira, and I think he'll be able to get a finish there. Next, we have Edson Barboza versus Bryce Mitchell, which is a super dope fight that I'm looking forward to. An interesting style matchup. It's striker versus grappler. Bryce Mitchell, the grappler. Barboza, the striker. Barboza is just a freaking buzzsaw. And I know we got stopped by Chikadze, but I think he could do serious damage to someone like Bryce Mitchell, who isn't as, refined on the feet. Barboza has a decent ground game. I think he'll be able to be safe on the ground. Usually I do tend to pick the grappler over the striker, but in this case I think Bryce Mitchell is biting off a lot, and I don't know if he's going to be able to chew it. I'll probably take Barboza there. And then we have the fight of the Rafaels. So I recorded this whole segment about RDA versus Fiziev, and then right after I filmed this, I realized, this fight's been canceled. I filmed it a couple days ago. So it no longer is Fiziev. It was supposed to be, or it could have been Islam versus RDA, and that didn't happen, unfortunately. But it is Moicano versus RDA. I'm going to pick RDA to win that fight. I think Moicano has a chance. He's looked good as of late, but I mean, he did take a loss from Fiziev, so in a way you could say this is an easier matchup for RDA. I think RDA has the experience to get it done. I think Moicano tends to kind of fold when he gets higher up in competition like this, but who knows? We'll see. Back to the video. But that's not what this video is about. We're going to be talking about Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal, not just from a fight perspective, but just from a social perspective in what this means for the sport, what this means for their careers. Jorge Masvidal is coming off of 2 losses. I want to just take a look at him right now. I know he's coming off of a loss to Kamaru Usman, and that's ×2. He, lost the decision in the first fight and then got starched in the second fight. Bad knockout. He'd never been knocked out before, and Usman just boink, shut his lights out. So he's been losing some hype. He had, the first fight against Usman wasn't an exciting fight. He had a lot of hype in 2019 where he finished Darren Till in the second round, got the knockout, which was in England. Then he did the 3-piece in the soda after that. Then he knocked out Ben Askren in 5 seconds. And then he TKO'd Nate Diaz. A lot of people dispute that one. He was ragdolling Nate Diaz. And then you have Colby Covington, who people consider to be the second best welterweight on the planet. Some people think that Colby won the fight against Usman. I am not in that camp. I thought he did his thing. It was a close fight. Colby's good, don't get me wrong, but I thought Usman, he took that. Before that, what was it? If I can use my mouse, it was Tyron Woodley, where he had like that weird rib injury where he finished Woodley in like the 5th round, but Colby was dominating that fight. And then it was before that, was it? Okay, I didn't know if it was Lawler or Usman before that, but it was Usman where he got finished in the 5th round. So either you love Covington in his shtick and you're like rooting for him and you think he's just gonna outwork Jorge Masvidal and beat him, or you're like a Masvidal fan and you're just hoping for that knockout, or for basically Jorge to keep it standing and just win a striking battle. Where I'm leaning is like my heart wants Jorge to win this. I'm not a Colby Covington fan, and I understand like he's playing a character, but I don't enjoy the character. So like I'm not being fooled in like thinking, oh my God, this guy's a terrible person because of all the things he says. I know he's playing a character, but it's also annoying to me. And to an extent, it's like when you are doing those things and saying those things, that is a kind of who you are. I know he's trying to get money and he's trying to support his family and feed them and everything, but there comes a point where when you backstab your own people, where it, gets to be a little much. Not saying that Jorge Masvidal is, a stand-up citizen, but I just really want to see a Jorge Masvidal knockout of Colby Covington. It's going to piss off a lot of you Colby fans. I'm sorry. Like, we can have different opinions. It's cool. I know a lot of you are in on the thing. And I think a lot of people see Colby Covington like he's like our generation of fans, Chael Sonnen. But I don't know. I feel like Chael was better on the mic, and he almost had like a drama type aspect to it where he just could talk super well, which I don't think Colby has that. I think he's getting better. But now how do I see this fight going? I have to be honest, and I think Colby Covington is going to just kind of do whatever he wants to Jorge. I think Jorge has a few rounds in him where he's dangerous and explosive and can finish the fight, especially if he just goes forward and goes after Colby. But with that being said, Colby's got a gas tank, and he can go all 5 rounds hard. And I know Jorge Masvidal has pretty good cardio himself, but Covington is different. He doesn't really get tired. He just keeps coming. He doesn't have a lot of power, but he can just put it on people and just out-pressure them. It's going to be interesting, too, the wrestling. Is Colby going to be able to take down Masvidal every round? I know... who has Jorge Masvidal been working with? He's been working with a wrestler, Bo Nichols. So I think he's going to be in, pretty... I mean, he's been training so much wrestling because he's had 2 Kamaru Usman fights in a row, so he was thinking takedown, takedown, takedown so often in that camp. But with that being said, I think Colby's probably going to win. I could see like a knockout in the 1st or 2nd round with Jorge, but Colby's got a pretty solid chin. It holds up nicely against someone who has power like Usman. So those are my thoughts on the fight. It's one where I'm rooting for one guy, but I think the other guy's going to win, so it's always tough when that happens. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below, A, who you're rooting for, and B, who you think is going to win. Yeah, I think a lot of times people, when they like pick someone they think is going to win or who they want to win, they just think they're going to win. Those two things usually line up. For me, it's always the opposite. I'm always like, I want this guy to win, but I think he's going to get TKO'd. But yeah, Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, they're fighting. If Jorge loses, it's going to drop his stock a lot. I mean, it's going to drop whoever loses. Their stock is going to drop. But I'm just hoping for a war. A war would be nice. Just 2 guys, were buddies, who are no longer buddies, swinging, throwing bombs, scrambling. We'll see if it turns out. I'm excited for this card. It's really good. There's some really solid prelims fights, too. I'm not going to be able to see the prelims because I'm going to be at a party. Dang it. Stupid social life. But yeah, who you guys have winning? Who are you rooting for? Let me know down below. Buy some shirts. Support the channel. Shoeies. conceive, believe, achieve, other stuff. I keep burping, dude. Why is coffee making me burp? Okay. The video is done.
Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson.
Amanda. Duh.
Next, we got Artem Lobov. We're going to stick him right up at S tier. Just kidding.